It took one sentence to undo a marriage that had taken 10 years to build. It wasn't shouted. It wasn't cruel on the surface. It was said casually, during a dinner party, between laughter and wine glasses, as if it meant nothing. And yet, it changed everything. My wife and I had been married for a decade. We weren't perfect, but I believed we were solid. We had routines, shared friends, inside jokes, and a quiet understanding that came from years of life together. I trusted her completely. I never imagined that trust could be shattered so effortlessly. The dinner party was hosted by one of her co-workers. A big house, plenty of guests, music playing softly in the background. I didn't know most of the people there, but my wife seemed relaxed, confident, almost glowing. I remember feeling proud standing beside her. At some point, the conversation turned playful. People were joking about relationships, about compromises, about what they settled for versus what they wanted. Everyone laughed. It felt harmless. Then someone asked my wife how she and I made our marriage work for so long. She smiled, took a sip of wine, and said it. "Well," she laughed, "you don't marry someone because they're exciting forever. You marry them because they're safe. Passion fades, but stability sticks around." The table laughed. Someone clapped. Someone said, "That's so honest." I felt my chest tighten. She kept going. "I mean, don't get me wrong," she added quickly, glancing at me. "I love him. He's dependable. He's predictable. He's not the kind of man who surprises you. But that's not always a bad thing." More laughter. In that moment, I wasn't a husband. I was a concept, a placeholder, the thing you choose when you can't have what you want. I smiled politely. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to make a scene. But something inside me cracked so quietly that no one noticed. Not even me at first. The rest of the night passed in a blur. I nodded when spoken to. I laughed when expected. My wife acted like nothing had happened. On the drive home, she chatted about the food, the guests, the music. I didn't respond much. At home, she kissed my cheek and said, "Fun night, right?" I said, "Yeah." That was the last real conversation we ever had. Over the next few days, that sentence replayed in my head again and again. Not just the words, but the ease with which she said them, the comfort she had turning our marriage into a joke, the way she didn't even realize she'd exposed how she truly saw me. Safe, predictable, not exciting. I started noticing things I had ignored before. How she lit up around certain people. How she dismissed my ideas. How she rarely asked how I felt. How I was useful, reliable, and invisible. I didn't confront her. Not immediately. Instead, I went quiet. Not passive-aggressive quiet. Not sulking. Just silent. I stopped initiating conversations. I stopped sharing my thoughts. I stopped asking about her day. I became polite, distant, neutral. At first, she didn't notice. Then she got annoyed. "What's wrong with you lately?" she asked one night. "You're acting weird." "I'm fine," I said. She rolled her eyes. "You're always like this. You shut down instead of talking." I wanted to say, "You already told me everything I needed to know." But I didn't. Silence became my refuge. In that silence, I listened more. I observed more. And the more I paid attention, the clearer everything became. I realized that my role in her life wasn't to be loved. It was to be reliable. I was the background noise that made her life comfortable while she sought excitement elsewhere, emotionally, if not physically. Weeks passed. Then one night, she came home late. Not extremely late, just late enough to raise questions. She smelled different, lighter, happier. "Long dinner," she said casually. I nodded. She stared at me. "Why aren't you jealous? You used to care." That's when I knew. She needed my reaction, my insecurity, my presence, and I wasn't giving it to her anymore. A month later, she finally confronted me seriously. "This can't go on," she said. You're here, but you're not here. It's like you disappeared. I looked at her for a long time before answering. I disappeared the night you told a room full of strangers that you married me because I was safe, not because you wanted me. She froze. That's not what I meant, she said quickly. You're twisting it. No, I said calmly. You were honest. That's what hurt. She tried to backtrack. She said it was a joke, that I was too sensitive, that everyone laughed. That's the problem, I said. Everyone laughed. Something shifted in her expression. Not guilt, fear. She realized too late that I wasn't angry. I was done. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse her of cheating. I didn't demand explanations. I simply told her I wanted a separation. She didn't believe me at first. You'll get over this, she said. You always do. That sentence sealed it. I moved out quietly. Took only what I needed. No dramatic goodbye. No speeches. I disappeared into silence. At first she enjoyed it. The freedom. The lack of tension. She assumed I'd come back once I cooled down. But weeks turned into months. The silence didn't break. She started calling. Texting. Apologizing. Asking to talk. I didn't respond. Because the truth was simple. A marriage doesn't always end with betrayal or violence or screaming matches. Sometimes it ends with one honest sentence said too casually. And when you finally see how someone truly views you, there's no unseeing it. The silence wasn't punishment. It was clarity. I rebuilt my life slowly. New routines, new people, new respect for myself. I learned that being safe isn't an insult unless the person saying it means replaceable. Years later, a mutual friend told me she still talks about me. Says she never understood how everything fell apart so quickly. It didn't. It took 10 years. One sentence just revealed it. And when I disappeared into silence, it wasn't because I had nothing left to say. It was because I had finally heard the truth.